Furnace Repair Buyback Program means you can slow down and take your time deciding what to do.
Get Eco.
We act fast so you can plan slowly.
You're right, Jerry. If your furnace fails in the dead of winter, call us. We'll be right there to fix it the day you call.
Boom. We're there. It's fixed.
Get Eco.
But our repair buyback means you still have time to think it over in the warmth and comfort of your toasty warm home.
And if you decide you'd rather replace that old clunker, instead of fixing it every year, we'll credit the money you spent on repairs against the purchase of a brand new furnace, up to $1,500.
We act fast so you can plan slowly.
How long have you been working on that line?
Good poetry takes time, Aaron.
Get Eco.
GetEco.com.
It's Mike Elliott for the Good Feet Store. You've been hearing me talk about them for a couple of weeks now, and I got to tell you, it's been a total game changer for me. I feel so much better with my Good Feet arch supports in my shoes, but I wanted to talk about a couple of things maybe you don't know. When you go in to get your personalized fitting at the Good Feet Store, first of all, that's free. There's no obligation. You can try the Good Feet arch supports before you buy them. Bring a couple of pairs of shoes and try them out in different types because they do fit in almost any type of shoe, whether it's a work boot or a dress shoe or a running shoe or sandal or ladies' high heels. The bottom line is the Good Feet arch supports fit any lifestyle and they're made in the USA. So if you're like me and you're dealing with foot pain due to plantar fasciitis or knee pain or lower back or hip stiffness or soreness, do yourself a favor, get to a Good Feet store near you. You can make an appointment or you can just walk in. They would love to see you. Stringtown Road, Grove City, Polaris Parkway, near the mall. Get started right now. GoodFeet.com.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
News Radio 610. WTVN Columbus, WTCHD2 Asheville, an iHeart radio station, guaranteed human.
From ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot. The protest group Indivisible says more than 1,000 weekend events are planned across the country,
you there?
demanding President Trump end large-scale deployment of federal ICE agents into cities. They're challenging the Trump administration's narrative that Renee Good, killed by an ICE agent in Minneapolis, was a domestic terrorist. Assad Zaman is a Minnesota imam.
An innocent human being, a good human being, having dropped off her children to school, attempting to exit from a war zone situation, was shot and murdered at point-blank range.
Here's ABC's Whit Johnson.
The Minneapolis police chief said the protests here last night were the worst they've seen since the shooting of Renee Good. They had to declare an unlawful assembly. The governor has also authorized the National Guard to be staged and ready if needed.
State authorities have opened up their own investigation.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Protesters continue to fill streets all across Iran.
You'll see it in my opening today, Edward. Entitled Riot Season has come early this year.
U.S.-based human rights activist news agency. The leaders of the 5 political parties holding seats in Greenland's parliament have released a joint statement today declaring we do not want to be Americans, we do not want to be Danes, we want to be Greenland.
If he would do the research, he could talk about it.
He's going to do something on Greenland, whether they like it or not. He has not ruled out using the military. Rough ride on the Rotterdam.
And who do you think did the update? Do you think they just appeared?
Passengers and 8 crew are reported sick from a norovirus outbreak. The ship departed Fort Lauderdale December 28th and arrived back in Fort Lauderdale last night.
No.
30-year mortgage down to 5.99%, the lowest in 3 years. You're listening to ABC.
JC, the gun of the week, FN 502.
The block on using unclaimed funds for the new Brown stay in place for now.
The temporary block on Ohio's plan to use money from unclaimed funds for the Cleveland Browns' new stadium in Brook Park has been extended. Franklin County Common Pleas Court Magistrate Jennifer Hunt, who presided over the hearing Thursday, confirmed the block will continue until the preliminary injunction hearing is decided. That order was set to expire Thursday evening at 5 o'clock. Despite the extension of the block, a Cleveland Browns spokesperson felt confident in the timeline for the stadium project. I'm Lee Mowen.
Police are reminding folks once again to watch out for scams. A woman in Westlake reported losing $6,000 when someone said she owed the money to keep from being arrested for missing a court appearance. Police Captain Jerry Vogel says the woman fell for some of the usual things in such a scam.
They told the person that if you tell the person at the bank when you're taking money out that you're doing it for a bond for the police, you're going to get arrested. They say if you don't put the money into a crypto ATM, your family's gonna be upset with you.
The woman eventually realized she had been scammed when the scammer asked for more money. And by the way, no police agency will ever call you and demand money. 3 Ohio Republicans are breaking with their party to restore expired health care subsidies.
Oh, Apex,
Representatives Dave Joyce, Max
seriously?
Miller, and Mike Carey joined Democrats to extend ACA tax credits for 3 years as premiums rise
Apex
across the
and then
state.
weather.
Joyce says he told House leadership the issue needs to be addressed. They
That's always
refused to
older
act.
folks. That's
Miller
true.
says that while he believes the current system
Ed
has
must have
failed,
a-
pulling the rug
just a
out from under
list of just
families
nothing but
without an
older people that
alternative
they can
is
prey on and
irresponsible. The bill
get 'em to
now
fall for
heads
this
to the
stuff.
Senate. I'm Travis Laird.
And I'm Andy Betts.
And I'm Ed Thompson.
Your latest
Here we
news,
go.
traffic, and weather.
If you're not informed, then you're out of the loop.
All you have to do is ask.
Play 610 WTVN on iHeartRadio.
Look at yourself in the mirror. You are handsome and or beautiful. People look at you and say, this guy/gal knows things. Why, they could be a pro, an Apex pro. Perhaps your current employer doesn't appreciate your talents. Perhaps they're a bit of a meanie and smell funny. You needn't put up with that. No, for Apex cordially invites you to be a pro who knows. You deserve no nights, weekends, or on-call. Be with your family. They are also handsome and or beautiful. You deserve juicy benefits for healthcare and a 401k. Imagine working at a place with a gym and recreation area. Imagine a comprehensive training facility. Imagine an in-house barber. Now splash cold water on your face and stop imagining it is real. It's Apex Pros, and you deserve to work at a job like this. The pros who know.
Here we go, guys.
ApexPros.com. Click careers.
See an accident? Let us know at the Curtis & Associates traffic tip line at 821-1111. Curtis & Associates, trust and experience of attorneys who care.
I actually thought I might make it through another month without a show opening. Sometimes nothing strikes me, and believe it or not, I have nothing to say. At least nothing worthwhile to say. But this week, this second week of 2026, it just bubbled up. Who am I kidding? It overflowed for me. Riot season has come early this year. As I expected in a Trump 2.0 term, it didn't take long for civil unrest to once again rear its head in our country. Trump derangement syndrome on display in a city near you. How pathetic that a segment of our population finds no other outlet for civil change than to harass our men and women who have taken an oath to protect society against those that none of us want to live next to. I'm at a loss for words what to even call these people anymore. They are far, far from peaceful protesters. That's old school now. They're professionals. They're rioters. Many are truly unhinged individuals who will stop at nothing to disrupt our country. They have at times become the enemy of our country. And that's hard for me to say about a fellow American. The unthinkable has become the norm in their world. We've seen it right here in Columbus with the antagonistic organization called Indivisible. Highly funded, highly motivated, made up of presumably many unemployed people with a lot of time on their hands and a hatred, a visceral hatred for law and order. But they're willing to protest and disrupt our daily lives for some deranged idea that the laws, the great laws of our nation, should be applied only when convenient for them, just on their terms, to some and not others. The unthinkable has become the norm in their culture. Could you even imagine going to the lengths to disrupt law enforcement officers enforcing our laws? Think about that. You disagree with the law, and I'm sure we all have a few out there we do, but you somehow in your mind have determined it's okay to take it out on the men and women who put their life on the line every time they step out of their homes. And I remind you, a home these rioters now believe is fair game as well. Just look at their tactics. They recklessly publish the names and addresses of officers whenever they can, and then they demand them take off their masks in public. Think about that if you're an officer, an undercover officer. with an army of agitators just waiting to take your picture to post on social media. Wouldn't you be wearing a mask too? They email the list of license plates of undercover cars. I've seen it firsthand, guys. I have friends embedded in these groups, and I see the emails. Stand on the corner and protest. It's your right. It's my right. And as a sworn officer, I will stand beside you as you call me every name in the book. I will stand and protect your rights and your freedoms. But guys, to go to the next level and stand outside of a public hotel at night, banging pans, playing loud music, blowing whistles, and doing anything to try to disrupt the sleep of an officer who the next day may have to use deadly force, does that sound right? Does that sound logical? It honestly sounds sophomoric and of low intelligence. And I might add, disrespectful to the family staying at the hotel. I honestly believe these individuals have mental deficiencies. Now, it's not because I disagree with them on principles. I have great friends that I disagree with. These people are working off of an intellect of a child. And I'm probably insulting children. Stand on the corner, out of the street, state your piece, hold up your sign, wave to the passing cars, and peacefully go home when the party's over. This week, though, they took it too far. Actually, they've been taking it too far for a long time, and this week, they felt the consequences. The line has been crossed, and with that, you increase your risk to yourself and others. And for what? To stand in solidarity with an illegal gang member who has terrorized the neighborhoods for years? You risk your own well-being to protect somebody who has drained our resources and whose first act on our soil was to commit a crime. This week, that risk that these rioters chose to take, their choice, resulted in the death of one of them. Horrible that this person gave their life for nothing. Nothing at all. They're not fighting for our country on foreign soils. They weren't protecting society against murderers or the rapists. They truly lost their life for nothing. One hell of a legacy. And how selfish of that person to knowingly put yourself in harm's way while your young children sit at home. How selfish. These people are not right. I can only imagine how she'll be judged one day by her family, who has to wonder, why would any intelligent person interfere with law enforcement in the course of their duties? Stand on a corner with a sign, but when you take a 3,000-pound vehicle and attempt to block a road, and then attempt to hit an officer while escaping, if you didn't see these risks, then as I mentioned earlier, you must have been a graduate from the Quality Leering Center. Seriously, guys. Wouldn't any intelligent person think to themselves, if I push this too far, my actions could be construed as a physical threat to an officer? Why would you put yourself in that position? I guess it seems so second nature to me, but I also did not send my kids to a school who boasted about specializing in teaching them social justice ideas. You may be wondering, was this a good shoot? Was it justified? How many times do we go back to Graham versus Connor Supreme Court case? Heck, it was my last opening in 2025. Look at the totality of the circumstances. What would a reasonable officer have done if placed in that identical situation? Look not only at the verbal harassment these officers were dealing with at the moment, but they also had a crowd forming. They still had their intended job to do, and now they had a vehicle that had blocked them from going down the road. For what reason? They didn't know. Just for an inconvenience? Or was it to hold up a line of agents while somebody methodically would go down and shoot at them from the side? It was a valid concern. But to then have this car now be used intentionally or not as a weapon justifies the use of deadly force to stop their action and prevent further harm to officers or the public. Was her intent to run over an officer, or was that just the result of her recklessly fleeing the scene? We'll never know her intentions, but the world witnessed her actions. We've said it for years, actually since the riots of 2020. We've lost our way in this country. Our moral compass no longer points ahead. Many amongst us are simply, they're ignorant. They're highly unintelligent individuals that we have propped up telling them they're smart all these years. And it's a sad state that we're in. It's not over, guys. Too many years of turning the other way while crime flourished, while our country was invaded. Fixing this is going to be painful. Be prepared, be ready, and do not be surprised. It has only just begun. Riot season has come early this year. It's going to touch all of us. On Target is up next.
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Welcome back to On Target. I am your host, Eric, joined today in the LAPD studio. I got papers everywhere, guys. How are you guys? See, I like to answer the questions, not turn you on.
Yeah, then not.
I can control.
We're fine.
Ed said he's good.
Ed's looking good, so that's good.
Yes, guys. What a crazy week.
It has been.
It just, I don't know. It shouldn't have been crazy, but it was crazy, Ed.
Off the wall, buddy.
Off the wall. I don't get these people. I truly don't understand. I understand being against something or, fighting for rights and this, but to go to this extent and think it's okay, that's what I don't understand.
I don't either.
I just don't.
You stand out in the road, you block the cars. I mean, you're blocking law enforcement. You're impeding what they're trying to do, and you are in the wrong right there.
Right. How upset do they get when an American citizen is raped or killed by one of these?
You don't hear anything
about that. No, that seems to be okay with them. No. So it befuddles me.
It does. And to think, they honestly don't think it through. If I'm in that position, knowing what's going on, and all of a sudden the road's blocked in front of me and I'm in a law enforcement capacity, it is not out of realm to think, oh, crap, this is a setup. They're going to start popping off rounds. Where's my cover? Where's my concealment? But these people don't think that. They're all just...
No,
they're not
they
smart,
think it's okay to stand out in front of the road. They think it's okay to throw snowballs and ice balls and frozen water bottles at the police, and then nothing's going to come out of it.
Heck of a legacy. You tell your children you died because you're an idiot.
Yeah, and now they're fanning the flames. Calling for blood. Did you see that last night in New York City?
The mayor there in Minneapolis
just saying kill it. Be nice, like kill and ice. But it wasn't that phrase, but that's exactly what they're chanting. Thousands and thousands of people. So
that's like I was watching something on some of these rioters. This guy was walking up to the crowd and it said 86-47.
Oh yeah,
and the guy said, "What does that mean?" He goes, "Just what it says. Kill the president." He goes, "What's your name?" He tells him his name with no problem.
Yeah.
He said, "You can't go around saying that about a sitting president." But they don't have. They have no problem saying things like that, and they don't think anything's going to come out of it.
Nothing does come out of it, Ed.
Well, you saw what came out of it with that girl, with Miss Good, who's not good at all.
She's very no good at this point.
And I can't believe the pictures and the profiles that came up on Facebook in support of what she did. It was almost every swipe of the page. There was her picture saying, "Look what the police did to her."
Yeah,
she did it to herself.
It epitomizes the thing. Screw around and find out. You're going to do stupid things. You run that risk.
Obey the law. This is a law of the nation that you can't cross the border illegally. Matter of fact, I got a little story on that.
It's just like what you said in your opening, Eric. If you want to stand on the sidewalks and you want to yell and scream and hold your signs, go for it. But don't get in front of the police trying to stop them from doing their job without expecting some kind of ramification.
Yep.
I'd start laying out tire strips. If we were going to a site, I'd have the last car there, and I'd put out those. So if people want to go past that, we'll have fun and buy 4 new tires.
Yep, that's about. Well, guys, we are the owners of LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility and are active in law enforcement. But for 1 hour on Saturdays, we put a group of firearm experts and Ed to discuss new products in the market, training tips, and oftentimes political topics surrounding the Second Amendment. Our commitment, though, has always been to bring you facts about industry and help customers and listeners with safe, responsible ownership of firearms. Joining me today, you heard the voice of Big Ed to the right. Always good to see you, Ed.
Good morning.
JC to the left. JC, our late night discussion, I don't want to get into it because we're short on time.
Yeah, we're not.
But I heard things that I didn't know. Let's just put it that.
I don't tell many people because everyone says, "Oh, this is all crap." I mean, but
we need a satellite radio show.
I said I'd give away every gun that I have if that wasn't true. What I told you. So of course,
I'm going to be taking that to my grave now too. Jeez, guys, this week we have. Well, first of all, we got to thank our good buddy Luis for jumping on with us last week. You know what? Talk about true patriots. Oh, that guy's a patriot, more patriotic than most Americans. You know,
one of my good friends, Matthew. He's actually one of the instructors I teach with. He's been here quite a bit. But anyway, he just said, "Look, he really was he was really overwhelmed by just the enthusiasm that this guy has." And I wish you could see it in person because he was, and it's all true. Everything he says.
Guys, today we're going to be silent on the show. Well, kind of. We are actually talking about suppressors, and there is so much going on about it. It's actually a really, really neat time regarding suppressors. And just when you thought you have every firearm in your arsenal you could ever want, what more could I buy? A whole window just opened up, and for good reasons. We're going to talk about that coming up here shortly. We're going to bring over Jake from the sales team. He is our expert in that. JC is going to tee us up on some history of that, which is fascinating to begin with. Yeah. And then we're going to tell you about how to go and purchase the suppressor now in 2026, which is greatly different than 10 days ago when purchasing a suppressor. So we're going to get to that soon. We also have a gun in a week. We're going to kind of mingle in all there too. That's sponsored by our good friends over at U.S. Law Shield. Saw them here today. Always good to see them. We'd like to thank our other sponsors. It's going to be Jackson Egress Windows, Blackwing Shooting Center, River's Edge Cutlery, and of course LEPD Training Facility, all who make the show possible each week. If you missed the show, the podcast is out there everywhere. Ella puts it out super quick right after the show, and then it's also on YouTube and on Facebook. Guys, let's jump. You know what, JC? Let's jump to a break right now. Then we come back. We can run it with some news and some guns of the week and a bunch of other stuff. So we're on Target, broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. We'll be back after the break.
Info on the...
Are you going to mention the decibel level between, say, that gun with and without a suppressor?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I can't tell you now.
It's only at 22. It ain't that loud to begin with.
Oh, yeah. That's TV. It's probably the only thing that's not true on TV, right? No, I mean, they just make up
JC,
whatever they want.
Do I
have one of those or not? Did you give me
No,
one?
I only printed one.
Right,
we
that's
can
okay. That's okay.
You can have it at the end. Look who called in the middle of the monologue. Don't say it, but I don't know why.
Right. Well, I don't know. I'd take that call.
I was right in the middle.
Who was it?
Can't say.
Well, your big mouth is going to say it.
Hey, I say what's true and what's not true.
That's why they don't tell you much.
Jeez.
I was in the middle of
you could have paused.
But they wouldn't have heard.
That was an important call.
Valid.
Call back. I'll take your call.
Oh, Edward.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know either, Ed.
This is just all politics.
People have lost their minds.
Really?
No.
I was hoping to have it for today, and actually we need to talk about it. I don't want to spoil it, but I have a shirt coming. I should have get them for all of us, but
what?
But what?
I didn't think about it until just now.
Oh,
still have time to order.
I know, I might.
Jeez.
10 seconds.
I think it's
10 seconds. Okay, there's a countdown. So,
Your ABC6 first warning weather. For today, cloudy skies, scattered rain is going to continue, high of 50. For tonight, a few sprinkles are going to hang around, mostly cloudy skies, low of 27. It's going to get cooler out there. For Sunday, mostly cloudy skies. Once again, spotty morning snow showers are likely. Some flurries might trickle in as well, high of 33. Currently 45 degrees in your severe weather station. News Radio 610 WTVN.
News headlines and where Columbus comes to talk. News Radio 610 WTVN.
This is that ice cold Michelle fight for that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them
Edward, you want to go with me and Ella to the concert?
This concert?
In Ohio Stadium next year. They just announced it.
No.
JC?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to go.
Ella's in.
Great.
Ella's in.
No, that's like walking into a crowd of protesters.
Actually, he's good.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm just talking about being around all those people.
100,000 of them?
Okay.
All right. That's one no for Ed. Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the LAPD studios. I got JC to my left, Big Ed to my right. We're going to be talking suppressors here shortly. JC has some news for us, though, to get to first. What do you got, JC?
Well, it seems to be that today is Silencer Day. So, but we have a lot of stories on them, and this is what's been happening. So they say that 26 could be the year of the suppressors. So the year of the riots, but year of the suppressors. We could only suppress the rioters. That would be great. This is amazing, actually. It's a prediction of the National Shooting Sports Foundation, which is industry's trade group. They reported the early sales figures prior to January 1st, and what's happening on January 1st, and what did happen. President Trump this last summer signed the big, beautiful bill, and part of it was the elimination of the $200 tax stamp required for NFA items. So people who were thinking about buying didn't, and were waiting for January 1st to roll around. And on January 1st, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms had not just a record number, but it was 60 times greater than any typical day prior to the tax cut. They had like over 150,000 in one day. Typically, they have around 2,500, and we had over 1,500. It's just amazing. 150,000, not 1,000, 150,000. And they said it could be more, but the system went down because it was so much, so they didn't get to process some for a while. So it was probably even greater than that. So what's this about? Well, suppressors, which are not firearms, but they reduce the sound. They do not make them silent. I mean, we fire them here in the range, and some people say, they notice some difference, but it really knocks down the sound about the same as a good pair of earmuffs would. So, with this $200 tax step, people are they said it's amazing what's happening. So, and they said the sales boom comes at a good time because firearm sales have been down across the nation this year. It's called the Trump slump because they feel comfortable that people aren't going to come and take everything away from you. But anyway, they are just expecting this to actually continue. So this eliminates the tax on both suppressors, but also short-barreled rifles, called SBRs, short-barreled shotguns, SBSs, and this category is normally you have to pay a $200 buy the gun, the suppressor, pay a $200 tax stamp, send it in, wait for approval. And that has been just amazingly quick over the last few years. They streamlined the system where it used to be 11 months to wait to get this. Sometimes it's 24 hours to 48 hours before you get the approval. But now with this overwhelming purchasing, it's been amazing. Now, one industry source did say that the NFA records that release don't necessarily correlate with actual just suppressors and SBR sales. And the quote from him, the unnamed person, said that number reflects e-forms, electronic form submissions, of all types. So that included actually our imports, exports, manufacturing records, interstate transport requests, and other routine applications. Those all go into the same system. So you have to kind of peel those back, but they weren't able to do that because of the temporary shutdown on that. So, but in any case, he said the application volume is at least 3 to 4 times more than Form 4s, which is what you need to fill out. And so he said it's going crazy. But the National Criminal Background Check System, the NICS systems, and that's what the FBI, that's what they use to process most gun sales, just hasn't been under any strain recently because I said sales have been down, but this has just hit the market. So overall, by the way, 2025 saw about 14.6 million gun sales NICS checks. So that's how many guns were. That is a lot, and that's down 4% from last year. But it's still, almost 14.6 million per year. I did a little math just on the side. interpolate a chart looking at how many guns were sold since this 26-year history. But I took a ruler out, tried to extrapolate what they were, and I came up with approximately since the year 2000 when they started, approximately 303.5 million NICS checks for firearms purchases have been done. So in that period of time, another 3.3.
Wow.
That's
a lot.
0.5. Yeah. So
and, I mean, you bought at least 10% of those.
Oh, I would love to. When you said, hey, I've never been out of ideas to buy firearms for, but anyway, so this is a big spike. So, in this regards, some bad news. We'll talk about it later, but unfortunately, the Commonwealth of Virginia, and I was kind of raised there in my youth. Now it's all controlled by the Democrats, and the first thing they've done is pre-filed a ton of gun restrictions. And the only reason I mention this now is with the explosion of suppressor sales and the federal tax going to zero, the Democrats pre-filed a $500 tax for all suppressor sales in Virginia, so within the Commonwealth. So the bill was, pre-filed by someone who had 3 different names. The $500 fee is 150% higher than the now defunct federal tax, and the charge will be applied at the point of purchase, and the money will be posited in the general fund. But they're trying to do that already.
Now, that hasn't gone through, right?
No, it's pre-filed. But they control
everything.
Now they have the governor. The only reason these hadn't gone through in the past because the Democrats have controlled the House and the Senate in the state of Virginia, but the governor has vetoed like dozens of anti-gun bills. Now they have a Democrat who's anti-gun in a big way, so they're expecting this is all going to go through. I mean, banning everything from magazines, but we'll get into that later. But as far as the suppressors go, that's been done. So anyway, this year we have sold. The country has purchased 14,612,314 guns, according to the NICS. NICS comparison of gun sales. This is a little bit down from last year, but still, as the NSF says, hey, the fact that nearly 1.6 million background checks were conducted for firearms purchases shows that the gun ownership continues to grow, even as we see falling crime rates. And he said the Americans are quite literally investing in their personal safety and in freedom. So that's That's good.
And you have to, we say it all along. I mean, right now we're in kind of that law where on a national front we're not worried about our gun rights being taken away. But, guys, it is just one election away and we're back in that boat. Guys, we're going to jump to the bottom of our news. On the other side, it's all about suppressors. Do you need one now? Might be a good time to buy them. On Target, broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. We'll be right back after the news.
Hey, if you're looking for new golf carts, it's
1002. There you go, Ella.
It's almost. It's not quite one per person. I don't know what the population is legally. I don't know if we're up to 350, but that's.
You can put that on just to
26 years. It's close to one gun per person in the United States purchase.
Ella, do you have our guest on?
What's that?
Ella?
Yeah, I like it.
What?
Do you have our guest on? I was just keeping you on your toes.
I am your guest.
Hey, so are you going to the Bruno concert?
Yeah, he's talking to you, Ella.
Nothing.
No,
Nothing.
She's probably out buying
Apparently
tickets
she don't want to
somewhere.
go either.
I guess that's a no.
Can't blame her.
10 seconds. 8 seconds.
Oh, holy crap.
How are they going to have a concert with one
Never mind.
attendance?
I was going to say, it's news, isn't it?
You have more time.
I was going to say,
Jeez, Ella,
did you cut
come
the
on.
news? You're all, I tell you.
Down to news.
Sometimes I just don't know about it, Ed. Oh, is my mic on?
Falling off the wagon.
Hey, can you hear yourself? How's your sound?
Check. Sort of.
Can you hear? Do you need your headphone up or down or?
I mean, I can hear fine.
You can hear
I
fine?
can hear
All right.
you, yeah.
All right. All right. When we come back, I will tee it up with a little history. We just got to watch time because I was hoping. Well, we go along like we always do, but a little history on it, and then I'll just tee it up and just throw it up and tee it up. And what are they saying out there, Edward? How's our connectivity?
So far, nobody's complaining, and We've got Florida checking in. We've got South Carolina checking in.
Oh, South Carolina.
Oh.
Yeah.
How about Hutch? I haven't heard from Hutch for a minute.
Hutch has not checked in lately. I hope he's doing all right.
He's probably in the middle of the riots.
Crazy times. Winston-Salem, North Carolina is checking in.
I happen to know who that is.
Would you do? Would you say his name? No. Okay.
No, you kind of call out our guess.
Why? That's why they check in, so we call them out.
That's right.
Well,
They like to hear their names.
You're the social media.
Well,
guru.
I'm not going to mention Cynthia. She goes, I hope Ed didn't get a deer.
Had they started that Worthington?
They must have. I haven't heard anything, though.
That's because they're using suppressors.
Silent.
Exactly.
Silent.
So that's interesting.
So unlike
Now 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
So the algorithm doesn't allow us to hold guns on Facebook, but how about a suppressor? Guess we'll see.
Mary Frances Jones is going to go to the Bruno concert. She said the halftime was the
PD Firearms Range and Training Facility. This is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the LAPD studios with a live studio audience.
Yay, look at them.
Yeah. It goes back to the door today, guys. Actually, I think they're blocking the door for people getting in.
I hope that's not that they're leaving.
It's almost
Maybe
like
that's what it is, but no,
it's almost like an ice rally blocking the door. Guys, here in the studio with me today, I have Big Ed to my right, JC to my left, and also back for his
sat down with
fifth
us.
time on the show. I don't know how many times you've been on the show.
No idea.
No idea, but
he's so excited too. Can you see that in it?
Yeah, he's holding it in. He's been preparing for this.
Yes,
Jake, our sales manager, who, if you've ever come into the store, is the go-to on a lot of things, but especially when it comes to silencers and suppressors. So we talked about that's what our topic is for today, but I want to tee it up a little bit, JC. The history of suppressors. Suppressors, silencers, you hear it tossed around. And a couple lines. How did we get here? Where did this start from?
This is amazing. I used to talk a lot about this. Some of the classes with questions that came up. Pardon me. I've always thought I gave them correct information but wrong information. And how that is the person who invented the machine gun was Hiram Maxim. Please, folks, just read about him. It's absolutely an astounding history of him. But Hiram Maxim, and I said, yeah, he invented the machine gun, and since Hiram Maxim also invented the very first what was termed suppressor or silencer is what the term was used. But it wasn't him. It was Hiram Percy Maxim, his son. So they both had the name of Hiram Maxim. So his son, who was an American inventor, Hiram Maxim went to Britain, became a citizen over there, the senior. But he invented the first commercially successful silencer in 1902. But he didn't patent it until 1909, 7 years later. But when he patented it in March 30th, 1909, he gave the name, his popularly trademark name, of the Maxim silencer. Because he gave him that name, and it was the first one, basically the FBI, the Department of Justice, they adopted the name silencer because that was the first one. And silencer usually implies totally silence, but today we're kind of changing that. So anyway, that term became in the law, and that's why they call them silencers. But what's interesting is now they're saying, look, it's not truly silent, so that we start using the term suppressors. But this was kind of surprised me last night. So the earliest technical term suppressor in the law, guess when it was? What year? 1985. 85. With the, patent number 503-0417. So July 23rd of 85. It was said a suppressor for reducing muzzle blast, so that was in a patent. So, and then a salute to our jarheads out there. In 2020, the United States Marine Corps, Semper Fi, began to field suppressors for the first time, and the USMC purchased 7,000 in 2020. So it became the first armed service to issue suppressors for general use.
Wow. Wow.
So
sounds like somebody in the range needs a suppressor. Did you hear that?
Yeah, a little bit loud.
Wow.
So, JC, the suppressors have been around, obviously, for a long time. Up until this point, and we said there's been a tax stamp, and ironically, that $200 tax stamp has been the same amount since 34 or in the 30s.
1934, yeah.
And so, up until recently, the process for that is you had to send in a fingerprint card, you had to send in a paper form, and you send it away to this black hole. And the ironic thing is here, the background check that they do is nothing more than the background check that we do. But you had to do this; you had to basically have it registered
and send in $200
and send them $200, and it took up to a year. When I had mine done, it was almost a year. Miraculously, a couple years ago, actually last year I believe it was, we started to see the ability to do these electronically. And with that, the ATF, the NFA branch, they sped up the process. Now, whether they intentionally had it not sped up to this point, I don't know, but it sped up to the point we were seeing things come back in 48 hours at times, incredibly.
Yeah, it was under the Biden administration too, which is really surprising. So.
Right, I know you probably didn't even know.
Yeah, he probably didn't know how to get out of this.
So now bring it up to 2026, and as you alluded to during the news, that $200 tax stamp has been reduced to zero. Now that's an important point. It hasn't gone away, so it's there for another administration to play with. It is still part of the NFA branch, which is another whole topic for another day. But it has gone the way, therefore opening up the market. Because a lot of these suppressors, they might only be $400 or $500, and when you had to pay $200 every time, then it impeded the progress of selling them at times,
Well, certainly, yeah.
So on January 1st, that has changed, and it totally opened up the market. So let's talk about what a suppressor does. I mean, you alluded to the fact, JC, that the suppressor, it doesn't silence it. But let's talk about some numbers. So typically, a .22 long rifle, the suppressed rifle, or actually a rifle in general, about 163, 165 decibels. Okay, just to give you a flavor for what that means, that is about the same loudness, I guess, if you will, as a firework or something else. So a normal firearm, unsuppressed, is pretty loud. A suppressor only reduces that by 30 to 40 decibels.
Yeah. Around there, some go.
I mean, that's what
it depends.
Yeah, depends. So they do reduce it by that amount. So here's the catch point: the suppressed firearm oftentimes is still louder than common things around the house. It's still louder than a leaf blower, than a chainsaw. So we're not talking about something generally that is suppressed to a point where you can't hear it, or what we refer to as Hollywood silent or Hollywood quiet and stuff. You can, through a combination of 22s with subsonics and this and that, get it pretty darn quiet, but by no means is it something where there's no sound at all. So then that leads me to Jake. That wasn't tied in like that.
Yeah, it was also very silent, by the way.
Yes. So if we're saying that these suppressors or silencers aren't going to give you Hollywood quiet, why on earth would someone want a suppressor these days?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons to want a suppressor. I mean, first of all, they're cool. They're very cool.
Cool factor, yeah.
But moreover, they do reduce the sound that is put out by the gun. So anything that's firing a supersonic cartridge is going to be inherently not hearing safe. That's just a fact, no matter what you're doing. But the suppressor is still going to reduce that. It's still going to make it safer for your hearing if you didn't have ear protection for whatever reason that might be. If you're using it for like a home defense, or if you're simply just shooting outside, maybe even like a hunting scenario, you don't have to. So that way you can go out, you could take 1 or 2 shots. You don't have to wear ear pro, and you're not going to do any kind of permanent damage or anything like that to your hearing. If you're going to be doing any kind of extended range sessions or anything like that, regardless of what you're shooting with a suppressor or without a suppressor, you should be wearing some type of hearing protection. That's just
right. And we see a lot of people buy suppressors for common rounds such as 223, 556, and when we go out and try them out, I purchased one for the first time myself, and we bring it on the range. It is right on the cusp of being able to take your hearing protection off and not need it. But it's certainly, I wouldn't sit there and shoot, magazines full without hearing still.
Yeah, it makes it a lot more enjoyable of a shooting experience, especially if you had a whole range full of people who are all using suppressors. Now you're looking at, that's a much more enjoyable experience for everybody all around. Plus, while you're shooting it, you're also getting, generally you get a reduced recoil impulse for various reasons. I mean, it's quieting and calming that gas, but also you're adding weight to the end of your firearm, which also helps to mitigate your felt recoil and stuff.
Talk about the reduced signature. You look at what's popular now, these AR pistols and such, and if you are shooting a 223 or 556 out of let's say a 10-inch barrel unsuppressed, you have a heck of a fireball coming out of that.
Yeah, there's a ton of blasted concussion coming out of something like that, especially a short barreled firearm in like a true rifle caliber. You're going to get a lot of blast off of that. So any kind of like concussion mitigation or anything like that is definitely a huge benefit. Suppressors, even like company like Knight's Armament, they make a tiny version of this can, and it is really just for eliminating flash and concussion. It doesn't do much for you for sound at all. But even something like that is a huge improvement over either a naked muzzle or a regular flash hide or anything like that.
And you touched upon home defense, and we don't oftentimes think about that, but JC, we talked about home defense, and in the law enforcement community, chances are, or there's a good chance that if you're having to discharge a rifle, it's probably going to be in an enclosed structure. It's going to be in the house. It's going to be in house clearing. And the sound of something that is suppressed versus unsuppressed in that environment can really mean the difference between permanent hearing loss to officers in the area and not.
Well, yeah, for like a regular person who's in some sort of a home defense type situation inside a structure, or whether it's it's actually more so even for like a regular patrol officer. If you're going to go into a type of situation like that, oftentimes you're not going to have time to put on additional hearing protection or anything like that. For somebody like a SWAT guy who's prepared for a raid.
Right. You're right.
He's got his helmet, he's got his ears on, he's all ready to go. It's almost less important for somebody like that to have one versus like your regular dude who's just stacking up on a door.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you've kind of come to that conclusion that the stars are aligned, the price is right, I'm going to buy one. Walk us through briefly on walking in our doors and the advantages of buying one in our case, we're talking about our partnership with Silencer Shop, or about just transferring something in totally outside of all of that.
Sure. So the process has actually stayed the same. There's no difference in terms of the process now that the stamp is 0. So you still are required to get a stamp. You're still required to go through the registration process. We're partnered with Silencer Shop. They make it super easy to do all of that stuff. You do need, your 2 accounts, your Silencer Shop account, your ATF Forms account. But if you have those things set up and you come in, it's, almost like just buying off the shelf at this point with how easy Silencer Shop makes everything. We grab that info from you. You pick out your can. We do all of the processing and everything like that for you.
Have a kiosk here that you do the fingerprints and pictures.
Silencer Shop kiosk to do your fingerprints, which you only ever have to do once. They're stored with Silencer Shop. If you're thinking about getting one, you're not quite ready to get one, but you're thinking about it, we actually have a cheat sheet that you can either come in store, we can give it to you, or you can download it, print it off right off our website for easy step-by-step instructions how to set up all your accounts preemptively before you're ready to.
Great point.
Before you're ready to purchase, and it just makes the process go super smooth.
And our relationship with them, and we're by no means the only one who has that. I mean, they're a big entity in it. They make it super easy. And when you do that, you as the consumer aren't paying any transfer fees or anything else because it's all kind of under our umbrella, the Silencer Shop umbrella.
Yeah.
If you choose, let's say you're out there and you see, man, that is a great deal. I'm going to buy this suppressor from XYZ and have it transferred in. A little bit different now. I mean, the amount of work that we have to do is exponentially more, and therefore that's reflected in a high transfer fee.
Yeah, there's definitely some extra steps if you're going to transfer one in from a third party. So with us, with Silencer Shop, we have access to everything they have. They're basically like a second inventory for us. You can get stuff on there, have it shipped in, 0 transfer fees, no fee to use the kiosk, anything like that. Now, if you're going from a third party, because there's a lot of extra work in dealing with the NFA from a third party to us to then out to the customer, it is a $175 transfer fee on those. Now, Silencer Shop is really great. They have access to a whole ton of brands, all your major brands, a lot of smaller independent brands and stuff like that for silencers. There are still a few things that you just can't get on there, so you may have to have it transferred in. But if you're looking at anything from a major producer for silencers, I would look to Silencer Shop first. Come in, talk to us. Just go right to Silencer Shop's website. They pretty much have the best prices around. They're always running sales on different things. If you can't find something there, then I would be very surprised.
And you hit the nail on the head. Come in and talk to us because you can, you or some of the guys can lead them. Oftentimes people will transfer a firearm in, and then it will be transferred in, and they get here and they pay a transfer fee, and they're like, "Oh, you have that in your case. Wow, I just paid more for this gun than it would be if I just walked in your door buying it." Check with us and make sure, because especially in the suppressor world, if you are looking on Gun Broker at 3 o'clock in the morning and hit the button, it's going to cost you more than if you were to come in and say, "Hey, look, this is what I'm thinking about," and let us direct you on that. Guys, let's jump to a break. On the other side, we're going to talk about specific ones. Jake, you have a couple sitting here. Talk about what we need to look at when we are making that first purchase. We will be right back. We're on Target, broadcasting live from the studios of LEPD Firearms and Range. We'll be back after the break. Perfect.
That's great.
Perfect. So when we come back, we will just, what to look for, and I'll just run you through it.
I've had questions before, just some of the class, they go, "Hey, well, why'd they go to suppressors? Because this is the military. They're shooting high-velocity ammunition. What's the deal with it?" And it was interesting. They said that the Marine Corps purchased them on the basis was they cited improved communications on squad and platoon level with that reduction of the. So that was interesting. Also, it's a flash hider too, so that works out pretty well.
Yeah,
so
much better flash hider than just a flash hider. The Marine Corps has had suppressors for a long time, and a lot of units actually had them before that. They actually had the earlier version of the Knights NT4 cans, and they still use a lot of those. There was a lot of those in circulation. Knights has a new version of that now, but it's basically the gate lock suppressor that goes right over an A2 bird cage. So there was a lot of those in use.
5 seconds.
What are these now?
Oh, here we go.
What's that?
What are they using now?
WBC6 first warning weather. For today, cloudy skies, scattered rain showers, continue, high of 50. Tonight, a few sprinkles are going to hang around, mostly cloudy skies, low of 27. For Sunday, cloudy skies are back again. Possible snow showers, though. Snow showers again in the morning on Sunday, freezing cold, high of 33. It is currently 46 degrees on your severe weather station, News Radio 610, WTVN.
The latest headlines and breaking news when it happens. News Radio 610, WTVN.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
That's not Simon Garfunkel singing that, right?
Because vision softly.
Believe it or not, we did not have Simon and Garfunkel.
How does a station of your statue not have Simon and Garfunkel?
Singing Sounds of Silence.
Trust me, I didn't even tell you, I better check and make sure we have that, because I just assumed.
I'm teasing, yeah. Ella is always looking out for us. Guys, welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the LEPD studios. I got JC, Ed, and I got Jake from the sales team. Guys, we only have a couple minutes left here, but I wanted to get into what to look for when you're making that purchase. I'm going to throw out a couple things there, Jake, and you just tell me what your thoughts are on them. When you when you're looking at a suppressor, is it best to buy something that's dedicated for that caliber, or can I say, hey, look, I'm going to get one for my 45 because then I can put it on my 9 and my 22 and my 17? What's your thought?
Depends on your budget. If you can, getting dedicated suppressors is always going to give you the best performance. There are multi-caliber cans exist. We have one sitting right up front there, like the Dead Air Primal up there. It's a 46 cal rifle rated can. You could basically shoot anything from 22 to 458 SOCOM through that. Does that mean that it's the best thing for all of those calibers? Absolutely not. Absolutely, it does not mean that. It is, it's designed mainly to be like a hunting can for those large bore rifle calibers and stuff like that. Generally, you don't want to go too overboard versus whatever you're primarily trying to shoot out of it. So if I had a 5.56, I wouldn't recommend anything over 30 cal for that. You could definitely do it, and there are some cans that actually, perform fairly decent, overboard, but that's basically as high as I would typically recommend.
And just, it's even surprising, but there are suppressors for shotguns. So you get a 12 gauge shotgun with a suppressor on it. So
Jake, serviceability. I mean, do you need the ability to break these apart and service them? Cleaning? What's the cleaning like? I mean, what's your thought?
For rimfire cans, user serviceability is kind of a nice feature. They get dirtier than a centerfire, especially like something high pressure like a rifle cartridge. That's just gonna, it's gonna blow all the crud out of it on its own for the most part. But not necessarily anymore. There's some really easy, like Huxworks sells a cleaning solution tube, basically where you could just kind of drop it in. It's like a little mini solvent tank essentially, and it does a really good job of cleaning it. It's super easy. A lot of your modern rifle cans and stuff like that there's no option for that to be user serviceable.
Wow.
So it's not something that I would really worry about other than maybe for a rimfire can.
Now talk about for a second, and this was something that I believe OSS at the time maybe was one of the first ones out there, but talk about ones that are considered flow-through now versus non-flow-through.
Sure, yeah, so OSS, Huxworks, they own that term, flow-through, so everybody else has to call it reduced back pressure. Reduced back pressure cans that's a very popular feature that people are looking for nowadays. It's got health benefits. It's not pushing as much gas back into your face, not pushing that gas back as much. It does less wear and tear on your parts. It's a really good feature to have. It typically comes with a little bit of a price increase versus a comparable can of non-flow-through technology, but it definitely has a lot of benefits.
And then it's not just OSS now that has them, right?
No, basically all your major manufacturers.
Did the one I buy have that?
Somehow. Yes.
Okay, good,
yes,
thanks.
Actually,
ways to attach them. I mean, in the day, they were all threaded on. You kind of screwed them on, but now there's tons of different ways to attach these.
Yeah, so a lot of cans, especially like rifle cans, will use some sort of a QD type setup. There's a little bit of that with like pistol cans, or pistol caliber cans. Although anything that goes on a pistol is more or less going to be direct thread, just due to the nature of how those work. There's a ton of different attachment methods. Most of your major brands are going to have their own like proprietary QD system, but there's also a trend of like the hub compatibility, which we've talked about before on here. Started out as Silencer Co.'s Bravo hub threading. It's basically a standardized rear end thread that you can attach different QD or direct thread attachment methods to, and a lot of suppressor manufacturers are coming out with cans that are equipped with that.
Last question, sound quality or the decibel reduction. If I pay a lot more, is it going to reduce the sound anymore, or is it just the cool factor and some of the other features?
No, paying more doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a better sound reduction. And to be honest with you, I don't care. Right. I don't care about those numbers. It's those intangible things. like tone and stuff like that. What I focus more on is like build quality and materials.
Right, great. And come in and see Jake or some of the other guys if you're in the market. Guys, now is the time to look because the stars have aligned. It's a great time to do it.
3 years.
yeah, for the next 3 years at least. Guys, thanks for spending, man, that just went by super quick. Thanks for spending the time with us. And we got some great shows coming up on the horizon. Actually, I saw our guest for next week just stepped in the door. We're going to talk about optics next week and some of the things to consider for that. Have a great week, and as always, guys, let's be careful out there.
Number 1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Save 610 WTVN Columbus on your presets. Free, never sounded so good.
My advisor at Plant Moran Wealth Management knows my definition of wealthy. Restoring classic cars. You tinker under the hood, put the keys in the ignition, and then the moment of truth. There's nothing like it.
You have your own personal definition of wealthy. Plant Moran Wealth Management knows it takes a personal approach to get you there. Experience the difference with Plant Moran Wealth Management. Book a consultation today.
Truck drivers, take control of your schedule in 2026 with a home daily driving job at Midwest Logistics Systems. As an MLS driver, you'll have a consistent Monday through Friday work week, earn predictable pay, and haul no-touch freight while driving out and back routes. Plus, MLS drivers fuel their paychecks with performance-based bonuses and enjoy a benefits package with healthcare, a 401k, paid time off, and more. Don't wait. Learn about our selection of local dedicated driving jobs and apply today at Midwest
LogisticsSystems.com.
Burner was recently ranked
right here
number
Saturday
10
or live from
Forbes
LPD
list
Studios
of
on
the
Bethel Road.
100 most successful small cap American
tomorrow at
companies
noon or live
for the year
from LPD Studios on
2025.
Bethel Road.
Now, that is a recognition earned by solving real
Tune in
problems
today at
for
noon or
real
live
people.
from LPD
Their
Studios
mission
on
is
Bethel
simple,
Road.
designed to stop, not kill, non-lethal force. BYRNA.com.
All right, Al, thank you. Hey, 2 weeks I'm not going to be here. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do, whether we're going to do a repeat or filling in or give the reins to Ed. I don't know.
Deliver real stopping power, even
All right,
60
bye,
feet
Al. Have a
out.
good week.
It gives you confidence to defuse a